Lindsay, tell me a little bit about the inspiration for it.
It came from my past, I guess this past summer I've been living in New York, and for the last 3 years maybe I've been spending the summers up there, and just my adventures took me to all these weird random shops that were essentially curio shops, and then made me start researching the idea of what is a curio shop and what is the history behind it, and finding all these really bizarre oddities and meeting these people that they'd meet you and they really didn't want anything to do with you, and then you'd grab an item and they wanted to have like a 5-minute conversation, more so where that item came from, or this is how I got this, and this is what the guy told me, and this is where this actually came from. And I thought that was absolutely fascinating, where it was like this proud materialism in a way, but they also wanted to make a buck off of it. So it's pretty fascinating. And so we were talking about what puppet shows we wanted to do, and it's like, let's do one about all these weird objects I learned about. So
I like shadow puppetry because it makes you think about the simplest way to convey what you're trying to convey, because all you have are basically 2 colors, black and white, and a shape. So the simplest way that you can convey the feeling or the emotion or the whatever is how you, so it makes it, I think, really accessible too. Like, everyone that comes to the show is going to get it because it's a very universal and basic way to communicate.
It's very cinematic.
Yes, I love that about it too, and I love that we always work with live musicians, and it's great because they can create a score for the show, and it helps so much with developing the feeling that you're going for, which is really cinematic.
Yeah, we used a triple panel this time because we wanted the idea of some of the characters take a journey, and so you don't want to be trapped in this one rectangular frame when you can take that character and move it through these different shapes and create different backgrounds. You can give more of a history and a past, which is what we were going for. And so I'm glad it read as a journey.
And also on a technical level too, having those 3 screens helps
so much.
Helps you, like, if there's something going on this screen, whoever has whatever is going on next can preset for it. So it's good on the front and on the back.
It's logistical.
Yeah. It's a dance back there, and we're helping each other out. And someone might be holding something against the screen, and someone else is doing a tape, like a glass top movement, and then you have someone else that's lowering your screen but raising theirs, and so we're trying to run around like mice back there.
We should probably all be regularly doing yoga. We're not.
If you could set up the narrative of the show.
It starts at this one curio shop, and the sun sets, and it's this idea that when the rest of us sleep, or items can sleep too, and they dream as well, and they dream of their past because that's all they know. They don't really have the ability to think about their future, or, so these 7 or 8 objects but live within these 7 vignettes, and that's what they repeat every night when they dream. And so it takes you through each object that has a time, and it's almost like a sense memory. So as soon as it's touched, then it comes alive, and then it's put back up in the cabinet and shut down again. And so each one of these objects, you have a crystal ball, you have a wolf skull, a narwhal horn, jewelry. Can I do this? I don't know. Surgical tools, the fetuses in the jar.
The Siamese twins, yeah.
Yeah. And fetuses in the jar, and the key. Yeah, the crystal ball is first, and the key.
So it tells the history of each object and how it got to be where it is. And I think that Lindsay and I both have distinct aesthetics.
Very much so.
And so I think it's pretty easy to tell what's an Emily show and what's a Lindsay show.
Because I think the last puppet show I did, the protagonist is killed by dinosaurs, and they have a dilapidated relationship that falls apart. Everything just goes awry. And then the River Bottoms was the sad story of a little girl that just grew up in a terrible place, and so my stuff's more dark, but it has dark humor with it. Whereas Emily's, you just leave wanting like to hug people. Emily's are always cute and definitely have a clear story arc, which I really enjoy them because I'm like, she's so sweet. Why am I so dark?
No.
The team that we have is so amazing. It's like our little puppet family. And so it's Emily and I and Larkin Elliott and Peter Zama. And so I could look at Peter, he made the werewolf, and I was like, Peter, I want a really gnarly werewolf. Can you do this? And he takes 2-3 days and comes back, and it's like, who are you? How do you make these things? And Emily, anything architecturally that you want, like just crisp and beautiful but delicate, that's your girl.
Something like antique and sort of vintage about it too.
I think that the way that the projectors work too, because they kind of frame things really nicely. They have kind of a, where like it's bright in the center and fades and gets a little bit darker towards the edges, where it kind of gives everything that antique photo feel.
It helps that we put them in picture frames.
Yeah, we've been using picture frames a lot for the actual, like, for our last Shadow Puppet show, Turtle, we built frames because we knew, I knew that I wanted, like, these certain sizes, but for this show, we were like, we really just want these cool-looking, antique-y frames that are...
These like, almost commodified aesthetic where that's something you could take off the wall and purchase, but what if it could move to tell its story? And so, yeah. And so we went shopping for frames and made our set.
Well, it's a beautiful show. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Are we off camera now, or are you going to still record us?